Imagine if you woke up one day. The cities are still there. The houses are standing. The roads are still there. But the humanity had fled. The doors are locked. The meals are left unfinished. The fires are out. And so be on your way. There are no indications of war, no epidemic, no big disaster. And now I ask you, how is it possible that a culture, a civilization, disappear in an instant? In this video, I am going to tell you about civilizations that quietly vanished from history. But from the beginning, let me tell you, these narratives don't get written into school textbooks. Between 250 BC and 900 AD, a magnificent civilization once thrived in Central America. The Mayans. They were master astronomers. They had learned the motions of the stars. Even today, their calendar inspires awe. They erected giant pyramids. They established cities. There are millions of people living in those lands. And then everything stopped. The cities were deserted. The temples were deserted. The forest gradually engulfed the buildings of stone. But the funny thing is, there was no massive destruction. There are no mass graves, no sign of a huge battle. There is no indication of a sudden disaster. So what happened? Drought, civil war, disease, or one of the many answers that we do not have? Because the Mayans were not wiped out. They disappeared. Now let's travel to the middle of the ocean, a place cut off from the world, Easter Island. On that island, there are hundreds of giant stone statues, Moai statues. Over 10 meters high is twice the height of a 2-story building, tons in weight. But there are no metal tools on the island, nor the means to transport these statues. Yet, they were made and erected. Then, do you know what happened? The trees were cut, the soil was depleted, the food sources dried up, and they started fighting. But the really scary question is, so why didn't they put a stop to it when they knew all this? Is this the story of a natural disaster, or is it a tale of a civilization self-destructing? No, let us go on to Asia, the Indus Valley, the cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro. They were among the most ordered in history. They had sewage systems. They had perfect city planning. But one day, everyone left. The houses were still standing. The streets were still there. The city was still there. But the people were gone. There was no sign of invasion, no fire, no great destruction. It was as though someone had uttered, "Life is ending here," and everyone had obeyed. Now look closely. These civilizations lived on other continents, at other times in other cultures, but they vanished the same way. Sudden, silent, unaccounted for. Doesn't happen to be that the trouble is itself, not external. What if the real threat? It's from within the civilizations that it is beginning. The drain on resources, power struggles, an estrangement from nature. Doesn't this sound familiar to you? Because this is not simply a story of the past. This might be the cycle of humanity. Every civilization rises, gets stronger, takes charge, and then it crushes under its own mass. Maybe that's why some civilizations didn't vanish. Maybe they ran from us. Today, we have skyscrapers. We have the technology. We have power. But they too were. And now there is only one question. Are we repeating their mistakes? If this video got you thinking, put this in the comments. Why do you think these civilizations were wiped out? Because the answer to some questions may not be in history. It may lie buried in us.